Hi there. Welcome to this episode of Write With Me at IELTS Juice. Today, we are going to plan for a Task 1 academic module. Yes, we are going to plan for a report, and the report here shows us that, and the prompt says, the diagrams below show the changes that have taken place at West Park Secondary School since its construction in 1950. So we have three maps, as you can already see. Before we start, we need to decide on one important element. Let me just say goodbye to this one for the time being and introduce. Yes. So tell me, what do you think is going to be the dominant grammatical tense for our sentences in this report? Present simple, present perfect, future, or past simple? Great. We have the time, 1950, 1980, and 2010. All three are in the past. They have no connection to the present, which means I cannot use present simple. I cannot use present perfect either. And there is nothing about future here. So we are left with past simple. And I'm going to put it over here just to make sure that we always remember past simple should be the focus of all the tenses, or pretty much the majority of the tenses we use in these paragraphs. There you go. So let's begin. What do? We need to analyze. We have three maps. Maps are kind of a little, I don't know, for some weird reason it is a bit difficult for candidates to write about. It's not that difficult, really. It's not different from a bar chart or a pie chart. Basically, it's a visual, and you need to write whatever you can see. That's it. And remember, if you cannot see any information here, you are not allowed to write or include in your report. The second thing, we haven't got the north symbol here. By default, you can assume the top of the page is north. Because it's a map of a city, and every map has the pointer to the north, so it's fine. It's much better than just saying, yeah, to the right, to the left, because right and left depends on which area you stand. But at any point you are, north is north, south is south, and it's not subject to interpretation. The third thing, I'm looking at a symbol that is similar throughout. I can see the main road, and the main road remained constant. So nothing happened to the main road. That can be a very good standard point. Also, the topic is with the school, and you can see even the main building of the school remained intact. So those two elements are kind of like your landmarks, the marks that they don't change, or they didn't change in these 3 years. So how do we start writing? There are multiple ways you can approach, but in the introduction, you can always start by talking about the visual. So it's a map, and there are three. So the three maps here, you need to say what type they are. They're maps. What do they focus on? They focus on a certain city called West Park. And the events that took place around its secondary school. Very good. What about the other focus or focal points? Dates. We're talking about 1950, 1980, and 2010. So you need to tell me what elements are there. The location, the time frame. These are, or anything else that you can find. After that, you can come up with an overview. I already mentioned two, so let me repeat them. One is that the school building, the main building, remained intact throughout these 3 years. That's a very good overview because it is constant and it happened in all these 3 maps. And that caught my eye. That's one element. Another element could be like the main road. I already said you can talk about the main road here. And you can say the main road is in the north of it. And you can introduce the 4 elements that in the south of the main road you may have houses, farmland, playground, and car park. And depending on the different years, there were multiple changes. That can be another overview. And you may even come up with something more detailed. Something like, well, there used to be houses, or when the school was constructed in 1950, as it is stated in this rubric here, well, there were houses to its, again, north, east, west. So to its west, to the west of the school building, there were houses, which in later years was replaced by other land use or by other, I don't know, elements in the city. That can be another overview. So pick one, and remember, I always suggest that you pick 2 so that the second one goes in your conclusion. Now we start. I intentionally put 2 body paragraphs here. You could, I don't know, but you can think like, hey, we have 3 visuals. Kasra, you told us for every visual, you can devote 1 paragraph. So I'm gonna go ahead with that, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna talk about 1950 here, 1980 here, and I'm gonna introduce another body paragraph, and I'm gonna talk about 2010 over there. Boom. Well, yes, this is good. However, I can tell you already that there is a high chance of creating mechanical sentences here, because you just focus in 1950 and then you go in and you develop and you talk about the elements inside, and then you go in 1980 and you talk about 1980, and then you go into 2010. Look at the rubric. It says make comparisons where relevant. So this doesn't give us comparison. We just report. We just say what we can see, but we don't make any comparisons. My suggestion would be to come up with a comparison 2 by 2 in this paragraph, and another comparison 2 by 2 here. Now, you need, of course, a topic sentence here that focuses on saying from 1980, but basically in 1980, the houses that were to the west of that school building gave their place to a car park and a science block. That's one way to start this. to show the reader that in this paragraph we are going to compare the changes from 1980 to that in comparison to 1950. We also need this, to do the same thing here. And here we can say the school building and its attachment, which is a school block, remained intact. Another good topic sentence here would be that car park increased its size. We do not speculate. We are not allowed to predict or make suggestions. Basically, this is out of the way. We don't predict anything. We don't suggest anything. We cannot say anything other than the things that we can see here in these three maps. But this element will give us a good chance to compare these 2 years in one paragraph and the other two in this paragraph. And you finish it by saying the overview. It doesn't have to be 2 sentences. We're not allowed to add any further information or predict or do anything else. This is enough. Maybe you can now give this report a try. If you wish to see a sample done and improved, you can click over here. If you wish to see other reports or maybe essays planned like this, click over here to watch more in the series. And remember, eat healthy.